Hello guys, this is Ms. Ponce de Leon. We're going to start working on test review part 1. This video will cover questions 1 through 6, and then you'll need to watch the second video which will cover questions 7 through 12. Okay, we're going to start off by writing a couple of notes here which will provide us with our steps to solving equations. Okay, over here to the right, if you will just write steps. Okay, and your first step that we're going to look at when we're solving equations is we're going to distribute, if necessary. Distribute. Okay, and what that is, that's the distributive property. So if you see anything on the left or right side of the equation that needs distribution, then we'll do that first. Okay, our second step, I'm going to abbreviate, this is combine like terms. Okay, so our second step will be to combine like terms on both sides of the equation. Okay. Then our third step will be to move our variables to one side. So I'm going to say move smallest variable. Okay, so we're basically getting variable. So we're basically getting the variables on one side of the equation. As we talked about in class before, you want to start out by moving the smallest variable. Okay, our fourth step, okay, is to move constants. Remember, constants are just the plain numbers. Constants, and we're going to use our inverse operations, so we'll use plus or minus. Okay, so our constant, we will use plus or minus to move our constants. Okay. Our fifth step is to get rid of the coefficient. So we will get rid of the coefficient. And if you remember, the coefficient is the number in front of the variable. And we will use our inverse operations of multiplication and division to get rid of our coefficient. Okay, and that leaves us with step 6, which is our solution. Okay, and remember a couple things. Solutions, we can have different types of solutions. Let me move this up a little bit, move our notes up. Okay, when we're dealing with solutions, we can have one solution. That's one solution, and that's when we solve our equation, we get something like x equals to 2. We can have no solution. When we solve our equations, we may see something like x equals to 5. Okay, and we know x does not equal to 5, so that will be no solution. And then last, we'll have all real numbers. Okay, remember that's going to also be, let me scroll this up a little bit more. It'll be all real numbers. Another way to write that would be infinitely many solutions. Infinitely many solutions. Another way to write that would be identity. Okay, and when we solve, that'll look something like 2 equals to 2. Okay, so make sure you have your notes written on the side of your review. Okay, again, going back up there, our steps are, let me kind of show you something here for a second. Okay, our steps on distributing and combining like terms, we will do these first on both sides of the equation before we start moving anything across that equal sign. Okay, so just remember, not all problems will have distribution or combining like terms, but if you do, you'll start with that first. Okay, so let's start working these problems, and again, we'll refer back to these notes if we need, as we need to. Okay, working through question number 1, we first ask ourselves, do we need to distribute? Is there distribution on either side of the equation? No. Okay. Are there any combining of like terms on either side of the equation? Nope. Okay. So next thing we do is we move the smallest variable. So we have a 6p and a 5p. The smaller one is 5, so we will get rid of 5p by saying minus 5p from both sides. On the left side, we're left with negative 8 plus p equals negative 2. Okay, our step 4 is to move any constants by using addition or subtraction. So I'm going to move this negative 8 by saying plus 8 to both sides. Okay, remember we always have to balance our equation. Whatever we do to one side, we do to the other. This leaves me with p equals, and then I have negative 2 plus 8. That should give me a positive 6. And that is our answer. Okay, now let's go to question number 2. Okay, there's no distributive property, there's no combining like terms, so we go to step 3, move the smallest variable. Okay, negative n is smaller than positive n. Okay, so we move that one first. So using our inverse operations, plus n, plus n. So on my left side, I'm left with 2n plus 5 equals 5. Okay, now step 4, move any constants. Okay, I've got a plus 5 here, so if I subtract 5, I'm left with 2n equals 0. Step 6, get rid of my coefficient. Step 5, get rid of my coefficient by multiplication or division. So if I have 2 times n, I'll use division, my inverse operation, and I'm left with n equals to 0. If you need to stop and rewind, please do so. Okay. Otherwise, we will go to question number 3. Again, refer back to our notes. Do I need to use distribution on any side? Nope. Do I need to combine like terms on either side? Nope. Okay, so now step 3, move my smallest variable. I've got a 3n and a positive 1n, so minus n minus n. I'm left with 16 plus 3n minus n is 2n equals. On this right side, my n minus n cancels out, and I'm left with a positive 4. Okay, our next step, step 4, move constants. So minus 16 minus 16. On this left side of the equation, I'm left with 2n equals, and then 4 minus 16 is negative 12. Okay, step 5, get rid of my coefficient by using multiplication or division. So if I have 2 times n, my inverse operation is divide by 2 to balance my equation. Again, whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. And I'm left with n equals negative 6. Okay, question number 4. On my left side, do I have any distribution on left or right? No. Do I have any combining like terms? On my left side, no, but look at this. On my right side, I can combine these two. Okay, so left side is negative 8x minus 3. On my right side, I can combine my like terms. 4x minus 8x is a negative 4x plus 9. Okay, now my next step, I move my smallest variable. Okay, be careful here. My smallest variable is actually this negative 8x because a negative 8 is smaller than negative 4. So I add 8x to this side, 8x to this side. I'm left with negative 3 equals negative 4x and a positive 8x leaves me with 4x plus 9. Okay, step 4 says move my constants using addition or subtraction. So I'm going to subtract 9. Got negative 12 equals to 4x. Step 5, get rid of my coefficient by using my inverse operations of multiplication or division. So if I have 4 times x, I divide by 4. Okay, and now I have here x equals to negative 3. Okay. Again, if you need to pause and rewind, please do so. Otherwise, we're going on to question number 5. Okay, question number 5. On the left side, do I distribute or combine like terms? No, that's pretty simplified. On the right side, I can distribute. Here I go. I can distribute negative 7 times the 4 and negative 7 times the negative 8n. Okay, so on my left side, I have negative 28 plus 5n equals negative 4n. And then here's my distribution. Negative 7 times 4 and negative 7 times negative 8n. Okay, so left side, negative 28 plus 5n equals negative 4n minus 28 plus 56n. Okay, so my left side's already simplified. Now my right side, I can combine like terms. Okay, I've already done the distribution. Now I can combine this negative 4 and the 56n. Okay, so on the left side, I'm still negative 28 plus 5n. Now my right side, I can combine the negative 4n and the 56n, which would give me 52n. So 56 minus 4 is 52n, and I still have that negative 28. Okay, now my next step is to move the smallest variable. Okay, step 3. My smallest variable is 5n, so minus 5n minus 5n. I'm left with negative 28 equals 52 minus 5 is 47n minus 28. Okay, now my next step is to move the constants. So this negative 28, I use addition to get rid of the negative 28. So I'm left with 0 equals 47n. Now I use division to get rid of the coefficient. So divided by 47, divided by 47. I'm left with n equals 0 because any 0 divided by anything is 0. Okay, so 0 is my answer. Okay, my last question here on this first page, I will use, let's see. On my left side, I'm simplified, so that's negative 11 minus 8x equals. Okay, so now on this right side, my first step is use distribution. Distribute my 8 and my 8 here. Okay, so that becomes 8 times 1 plus 8 times negative 4x. And then I have this plus 5x. Okay, so my left side is still negative 11 minus 8x equals 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times negative 4x is negative 32x plus 5x. Okay, now I can combine like terms on this right side. That's my step 2. Okay, so still on my left side, negative 11 minus 8x equals 8. And that becomes negative 32, and plus 5 is negative 27x. Okay, so I get rid of my smaller variable. So plus 27x plus 27x. I'm left with negative 11 plus 19x, which is at 27 and minus 8 equals 8. Okay, I add 11 to both sides. So 19x equals 19. Divide by 19. Divide by 19. I am left with x equals to 1. Okay. that covers this page. We'll look on to the next page now.